Do this problem with me. I wanna show you something. I want you to go to number 2 on let's see. I'm not sure if it's still page 29 and 30. Let me look in the binder here. I forgot. Yes, it's on page 29 and 30. So go to number 2. We're gonna do A, B, and C. But I want you to think about how this is kind of how these problems are a little bit different. But basically, what you always do on all the mole problems in stoichiometry is number 1, change to moles. That's the first step. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is the mole ratio from the equation. And 3, change to desired unit. But I want to show you something about these problems here because sometimes you don't need to do all 3 steps. Okay? But anyway, let's do A here right now. Now this equation is already balanced, so we don't have to worry about that. But anyway, so we're going to start off with 5 grams of calcium carbide, CaCa2. Okay? And it's asking for how many grams of acetylene. Okay, acetylene is the C2H2. Okay, so we're starting off on grams. Step 1, change to moles. 1 mole CaC2. So we got 1, oops, what happened there? 1 calcium times 40, so that's 40 grams. And we got 2 carbons times 12, that equals 24. So that equals 64 grams. That's the molar mass of that stuff right there. So of the CaC2, calcium carbide. So 64 grams CaC2. Okay, so step 1, change to mole. Step 2, mole ratio from the balanced equation. So we get the numbers in front here. 1 mole CaC2. Okay, now what are we going to? Water. 2 moles. Water. Okay, now are we trying to get moles of water, or do we want how many or not water? I need to go to, sorry, I didn't do that one right. I'm trying to go to C2H2, so that is wrong. I went to the wrong thing. So yes, you always got to go back and reread the problem. I went to the wrong thing. All right, back to this. Okay, I kind of went erase crazy there. So we're trying to go to C2H2. So the ratio is for every one of these, there's one of those. So 1 mole C2H2. Okay, and now we want to go to grams of acetylene, so we got to keep going. And 1 mole C2H2, there's 2 carbons times 12, that equals 24. Sorry, my writing's messy. And there's 2 hydrogens, each times 1, that equals 2, so that's 26 grams. So the molar mass is 26 grams C2H2. And if we end up doing the math there, we end up getting 2.0 grams C2H2. So notice how step 1, I changed to moles. Step 2, mole ratio from the balanced equation. 3, I changed to the desired unit of grams. Okay, now I want you to see how number 2 is a little bit different. Okay, so it says how many moles of CaC2 are needed to completely react with 98 grams of water. So I write down 98.0 grams water. I draw the picket fence. Okay, step 1, change to moles. So we're in grams, we've got to change to moles. 1 mole H2O, 16 plus 2 is 18. That's the molar mass of water. Okay, change to moles. Mole ratio from the balanced equation. Remember the diagonality rule. 2 moles water. Okay, what are we trying to go to? How many moles of CaC2? To 1 mole CaC2. Okay, so here's what we did. We changed to moles. We did the mole ratio. Step 3 is to go to the desired unit. But what is the desired unit? Moles of CaC2. And if you look, Whenever the last unit is the unit that you want, you stop and do the math. So I'm not going to go any further because if I stop this problem, I'm in moles of CaC2. So now I just got to push the buttons on the calculator, and I get 2.72 moles CaC2. Okay? All right. One last problem. How many grams of CaOH2 are produced when 5.34 moles of C2H2 are produced? Okay, so we start off 5.34 moles C2H2. We draw the picket fence. Okay, step 1, change to moles. Oh, we're already in moles, so skip that step if you're already in moles. Step 2, mole ratio from the balanced equation. So I got to go back up to my equation. I know it's cut off a little bit, but you should have it on your paper. So for every 1 mole C2H2, see how I kept a diagonality rule there? Okay, what are we trying to go to? CaOH2. So we look up here at the equation, and there's there's nothing there, so that means there's a 1. So 1 mole Ca gets calcium hydroxide, CaOH2. Okay, but it doesn't want moles of CaOH2, it wants grams, so we got to keep going. So 1 mole CaOH2. Okay, we got to do the molar mass, so there's 1 calcium times 40, that equals 40. There's 2, notice that there's 2 oxygens times 16, that equals 32. And there's 2 hydrogens times 1, that equals 2. So that's going to be 74 grams. Okay, so 74 grams will go there. And then you can do the math. And it ends up being around 395 grams CaOH2. All right, that's it for this video. Complete the rest of the worksheet.